We like to believe the world works like a moral story, where good people get rewarded and bad people get punished. But Machiavelli saw the world differently. He observed rulers, leaders, and people in power, and noticed that often the most good or honest people were the ones taken advantage of, pushed aside, or even destroyed. Why? Because power is not about being good. Power is about survival, influence, and control. And survival sometimes requires harsh choices. Machiavelli's point wasn't to tell us to abandon goodness. Rather, he said, if you only rely on goodness, you will be weak. You will become a target for those who are willing to do whatever it takes. The world, he said, rewards not just the good, but the wise. And wisdom means knowing when kindness can be strength, and when it becomes weakness. What does naive goodness look like? It's trusting everyone without question. It's believing that honesty will protect you. It's acting kindly, even when others exploit that kindness. Naive goodness leaves you exposed. Machiavelli warned that people are not always what they seem. Some will use your kindness to their advantage while hiding their true intentions. This is why Machiavelli argued that a leader, or anyone who wants to succeed, must learn to see beyond appearances. You have to understand that people often act out of self-interest, fear, or desire for power. If you refuse to acknowledge this, you will be outplayed. Machiavelli introduced the idea of virtue, not just virtue in the moral sense, but a kind of practical wisdom and strength. True power, he said, comes from balancing goodness with realism. This means knowing when to be kind and when to be firm, understanding when honesty will serve you and when silence or secrecy is better, recognizing that sometimes bending the rules is necessary to protect what matters. This balance is difficult but essential. Being good doesn't mean being a doormat. It means being smart about how you use your goodness. Here's a surprising lesson from Machiavelli. Goodness itself can become a form of power. When used with intention, kindness, and generosity, can build loyalty and respect. But this requires control. Machiavelli said that a wise leader should appear good, generous, fair, and kind, while being ready to act decisively when needed. This mask of goodness is not about pretending, but about understanding the game. It's about using goodness to gain trust, and then using that trust to build lasting strength. One reason goodness is often seen as weakness is because it can be emotional. We feel the need to help, to forgive, to trust. Machiavelli taught that emotions must be controlled. Emotional control does not mean becoming cold or cruel. It means not letting your emotions make you vulnerable. If you act only out of emotion, you may lose sight of what's best for you or your people. By mastering your emotions, you turn goodness from a weakness into a tool. You choose when to show kindness and when to withhold it. You don't have to be a ruler or a politician to learn from Machiavelli. His lessons apply to everyday life, in work, relationships, or personal growth. Understanding the dark side of goodness can protect you. It means being cautious about who you trust, not letting kindness become exploitation, learning to say no, even when it's hard, building your strength quietly without losing your integrity, seeing the world clearly, not just through rose-colored glasses. This doesn't mean becoming ruthless. It means becoming wise. At the same time, Machiavelli didn't encourage cruelty or dishonesty for their own sake. He warned against rejecting goodness completely. When leaders act without any goodness or fairness, they lose respect, loyalty, and eventually power. The lesson is not to abandon goodness, but to understand its limits. Goodness without wisdom is dangerous, but wisdom without goodness is empty. Ultimately, the greatest lesson from Machiavelli is that power and goodness are not enemies. They can work together if you learn how to balance them. Being good is about more than feelings. It's about strategy, timing, and understanding. It's about choosing your moments, protecting yourself, and acting with purpose. When you do this, you stop being a victim of the world's harshness. You become a player who shapes the world. So, what is the dark side of goodness? It's the risk of being too trusting in a world that is often unforgiving. It's the danger of acting without thinking, of giving without boundaries. But it's also the path to real power when paired with wisdom, control, and strategy. Machiavelli's lessons remind us, to survive and thrive, we must see the world as it is, not just as we wish it to be. Goodness is not weakness, but it must be chosen wisely, used wisely, and protected wisely. If you've taken anything from this today, let it be this. True goodness is the courage to face the dark side and the strength to rise above it. If this message spoke to you, if you want to explore more ideas like this, hit that subscribe button. And tell me in the comments, how do you balance goodness and strength in your life? Thanks for listening. See you next time.